And here we are. Alright, Wicca, why don't you start by telling us where you are in ladder and what kind of decks you play the most? What kind of playstyle you prefer?
So right now I'm plat 3. For playstyle, I'm a really big fan of like mid-range decks. I like decks with lots of units. But the first deck that I actually like really climbed with was actually Heimerdinger and Vi, when that was like an actual deck that could exist on ladder. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a good time.
No, that's fair.
So I played a lot of it. So the decks that I've used to climb the most was, like I said, Heimer Vi, and then the Ashe Sejuani combo. And then currently I'm trying to climb into Diamond with like a Demacia Targon midrange. Just because, I mean, Leona's amazing. Why wouldn't you want her?
Yeah, that's fair. I played her in the tournament earlier on. Is it an Allegiance deck or?
It is not an Allegiance deck.
Okay, okay.
It is just units with obviously like Concerted Strike and stuff like that.
Sure, sounds like a solid deck. Let's take a look at it first though.
So 3 Solaris, 2 Puck Cascades, 3 single combats, 3 shield bearers.
Okay, so kind of your own brew, right?
Yeah, and I actually Kuvira looked at it and he thought it was okay. So that was really cool.
Okay.
And so I just really want to hit Diamond with it. But I have also played like sometimes if I just want to win, if I haven't in a couple of games, I'll play like Scouts or Swain TF still.
That's reasonable. Well, this looks like a list that can win. I would personally probably change a few cards. I'm not sure why the mentors are in there, for example.
Well, I had the Laurent Proteges in there earlier. And I had, so instead of the Solari Priestess and instead of the Mentor of Stones, I had the Laurent Protege, wherever he is, and also the 4-cost 4/4 Dragon, the White Flame Protector, because I have like, I'm like stacked on 5 costs, and I was trying to find the cards that would fit the best. And I ended up with Solari and Mentor, because Solari just like obviously opens up your options when you get like either removal with Celestial or like another unit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mentor is just like honestly really convenient for the +2/+2 that you can get on Leona or Garen. And if you can't, you still get 3 gems for heals, which is fantastic with Leona because she's really tanky early on.
I mean, it's reasonable. If you think they're really good in this deck, sure. Like, just looking at this deck, I'd probably cut Mentors, probably the Bastion, and maybe the War Chefs. I'm like, since you don't have Challengers, the War Chefs kind of lose value. And I'd for sure add a 3rd Priestess, 3rd Genevieve, and like maybe 3rd Pale Cascade, maybe 2 more Star Shapings, depending on what playstyle you're going for.
I can see cutting the Chefs for sure. If I were to cut the Chefs, I would add Genevieve.
Yeah.
I'd add that 3rd Genevieve. I don't know about adding a 3rd Priestess, honestly.
That's fair. I could also see if you really need another 1 or 2 drop, I would probably go for either Fleet Feather Tracker, Spacey Sketcher, or maybe even Brightsteel Protector. Because you at least have like 3 single combats to get value of Brightsteel. War Chefs are probably just gonna die a lot in this list, like since you can't protect them well, right?
Yeah.
But if you want, we can also just take this list for a spin.
It's up to you. I can play a meta deck if that's what you prefer. Just so that way
I mean, we absolutely can play whatever you're comfortable with and want to learn. I'm just saying with the text, we can keep it like this, or we can.
I mean, honestly, I can see replacing these with Brightsteel. I don't know. Part of the issue is in the early game, I like with all the ramp decks people are playing, I don't feel like the barrier gets anything. Because early, if I'm using single combat against those cards. It's always against just the 0/4 waiting stones, or the other one that's 0/2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's reasonable. I mean, we can try war traps. I was just saying, if you ever feel like they don't suit you well, they're very cuttable.
I'll add the Genevieve, and then yeah, we'll try this. We'll try it this way.
Yeah, just try around a bit. I mean, in a list this aggressive, you're right about wanting a couple of 1s and 2s and 3 drops. Just gotta kind of try out what the best ones are.
Okay.
Yeah, but sure. I mean, the list looks okay. You can for sure hit Diamond. You can probably hit Masters with this if you play it well enough. It is, like you said, though, it is very heavy on 5 drops. And I'm not convinced yet the Garen is the best fit for this, but I could see why it makes sense. It's a really solid, beefy mid-range deck.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't really see a way around. Like, you could use Fiora instead, but then you just want to add the chefs back in. And I just honestly am not a huge fan with where Fiora currently like stands. Like if you're gonna play Fiora, why not just play Tarek?
That's fair. If you play Fiora, you probably also want to add like riposts and what else?
Ripost, Ranger's Resolve,
stuff like that. Yeah, some more protective stuff.
Yeah, you just have to switch the whole deck if you were to put Fiora in. I feel like Garen's like the only option.
Maybe more Bastions, maybe more Guiding Touches.
Yeah.
It would be interesting, but it would be a very different deck. It would play a lot more for Fiora and a lot less for the standard chunky units mid-range game plan.
I really wish I could justify more Bastions, but I can't. Because it's usually just like, you have the one for if you get the single Obliterate. But I just wish you could fit more.
I mean, you don't really have hyper carry cards that would justify Bastion. That's kind of true. Like, one of it's fine, but you don't even have to run it. But sure.
Yeah.
This looks okay.
Anyway. Okay. We will try that.
Alright.
Just go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I
don't really know
what else I wanted to ask you was, is there any strengths or weaknesses that you are aware of yourself?
I lose to Ezreal a ridiculous amount for how bad people say he is.
Okay, but just with this deck or with any deck?
With any deck, like Swain TF, Ezreal Karma, Scouts. Well, actually, Scouts I don't lose as much to Ezreal, but it still happens way too frequently.
And do you have any idea why exactly that would be?
It just feels impossible to kill them before Ezreal's on the board.
Okay.
Unless it's like a really rush heavy deck. And honestly, this is a perfect hand. So
yeah, keeping Leona was fine, by the way. I don't mind that. Leona is pretty key to this deck.
She also just slows Trundle down a lot, which is convenient. And with this hand, I get to drop her, and she levels up, so she's out of range of Calling Strike.
True. And you also kind of have... I mean, okay, Hush kind of doesn't really do much at first sight.
Yeah.
Trundle Swain. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Alright, what do you think about our general game plan in this game?
So, I mean, against Swain Trundle, because he has the Leviathan finisher, I'm the one that has to, like, end the game, right? Before he gets Leviathan on the board.
That is true. But you also, like... I mean, how big of a problem would it be if he drops a Leviathan if you look at your deck list?
I would just need to hold a Concerted Strike for it.
Yeah. That would be... I mean, you have ways of dealing with opponents' threats. If you draw them, you, like... What I'm trying to say is you don't have to necessarily be the slower deck. It really depends on the hand state. Like, if you hold 2 Concerted Strikes and the opponent only holds 1 Leviathan, you might actually be the deck that's more in control of the game. And outvalues the opponent. But yeah, I do agree that most of the time you're probably gonna play for more tempo. Alright.
And there's not really a point if we're just gonna play this card for to wait on attacking, right?
No, yeah, I agree. Alright, what do you think?
Honestly, I kind of want to just take the Obliterate. When he drops Trundle, I can just obliterate him.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, the only other option is the Traveler, right? Because that just gives you a body and another Invoke. There's no reason to take the Sister, because I have Radiant Guardians in the deck.
Yeah, Sister is also fine for tempo. It's just a, like, well-statted 6-drop. But
2 4/3s.
But you said earlier yourself, like, what's the one way we lose this? It's like Swain Leviathan or like Trundle big units, right? And we can very much hinder our opponent's win condition with the Obliterate. I like it.
Oh, that's really convenient. So then...
Okay. Now let's look at what we do. What are our options here?
So we can drop the Mentor of the Stones and then attack with the whole board with a Pale Cascade. I mean, that's kind of the only thing we're looking at, because Hush won't give us anything at all, and I don't think there's really a reason to not develop the board, because on 6 he's... I mean, he would have dropped Trundle last turn if he had him, I'm pretty sure.
That's a good point. I just don't know if these lists run Avalanche. I think they don't. I think our opponent would have dropped it last turn. So I'm on board with developing Mentor.
And then we can stat Leona. Yeah, okay. That's a small issue, but I'm pretty sure if he blocks Leona here with the regen, then he'll die. No. Yeah.
Yeah. With the Pale Cascade, you can clear him out. I like it. I like it. It also puts our opponent in a weird spot because he kind of doesn't want to block the Mentor, but he kind of has to, or the Mentor will get more value later on, right?
So he drops the Mentor with the 5/5 and he blocks Leona with the 5/8. And then we kill the 5/8 because he only has 1 mana, so there's no Troll Chant can happen.
Nope.
Which, okay, Troll Chant is the dumbest burst card they could have added to the game. It actually makes me so upset.
Is it dumber than Hush?
Okay, it's not dumber than Hush. But...
yeah, Troll Chant's a really, really good card.
You get HP and you reduce attack for 2 mana? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can win 2 trades at burst speed for 2 mana. It is pretty nutty, I do agree. Alright, looking good. Okay.
Ravenous. Oh well. I guess the 5/8 still died.
Yeah, it's still, like, the whole trade is still worth it.
So we're a turn before Leviathan, so we just want to set up for an open attack, right?
Does it? Yeah, we could, but like, to what extent does Leviathan matter on the board?
I mean, with the Swain on... well, Swain's not really close to leveling up. So I guess the Leviathan doesn't really matter. And we still have Comet to just delete it. Pretty sure we just use Ravun here, right?
Yeah, Ravun looks really good to have a blocker for Swain, right? We really need a blocker for Swain this turn. But next turn, there's one other cool thing you can do.
Genevieve and
what else do you have on board?
Ravun, Morning Light with the Mentor.
I mean, the Mentor buffing Genevieve can just straight up clear out Swain.
Yeah.
Without your Genevieve dying.
I mean, there's not really a point to not play Genevieve, right?
Well, you can keep the mana for Obliterate this turn. But if you really think about it, like, how bad would it be if Leviathan is on board while your opponent doesn't have mana? Or doesn't have Swain as well?
Not that big a deal, because we're full HP.
Probably. One thing to keep in mind, though, would be Troll Chant. But look at Swain's leveling progress.
4 out of 12.
Yeah, would that be that bad? I think not, right?
No.
I think playing Genevieve is very fine here.
Is Genevieve really the one that we want to buff? I mean, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a reason to not buff her.
The reason would be clearing out Swain. Oh, we don't have to do the scout attack. That's what I mean. Like, does the scout attack really give us anything?
No, it just damages Genevieve more.
And it puts her into flock range. So what I would do is, yeah, just... Exactly. And this guy can swing as well. Yeah.
Is there a point to attack with these two, or should we just keep them for jump blockers?
Yeah, I would keep them not only for jump blockers, but also for Morning Light.
Oh, true.
You can find another Obliterate or something like that off of it.
So, Troll Chain could save Swain, but that's it. I guess that would be a reason to attack with Genevieve first. With the scout would be if we think it's Troll Chain.
That is true, but look at your opponent's hand. There's one open card.
Mm-hmm.
If we attack with Genevieve first, she just dies to flock before clearing out the Swain.
Yeah, for sure. There's not really a reason to use my gems yet.
No. Rather keep the mana.
At this point in time, with Leviathan's HP, is it better to just obliterate the Swain that he drops?
Probably is. Because Swain represents stuns and Leviathan doesn't really represent anything. Like, okay, damage to our Nexus, which... Okay, that might change things, though. But we have multiple options of dealing with this.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I mean, it's either Concerted Strike or the Comet.
Mm-hmm.
But Leviathan needs to die, right?
Yeah, it would definitely be nice. What's the downside of Concerted Strike?
The downside of Concerted Strike is we won't have it later for like a Radiant Garden proc if we absolutely need it.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like we need it, though?
Not really. And there's no guarantee that Concerted Strike kills, but there's a guarantee Comet kills. So I think it's better to Concerted Strike when it's at 2 HP.
Yeah, I personally like Concerted Strike a bit more. You hit it with a 2-2, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there would theoretically be answers for that in opponent's deck. That would be either something like Flock plus Death Sand. Like removal of both your units, or Troll Chant, but opponent didn't have Troll Chant earlier, right? It didn't look like it.
Yeah, he would have definitely used it.
Yeah, another big upside is it looks like our opponent is gonna attack, right? And check out how much mana we have now versus how much mana we would have had.
Okay.
If we would have used Comet.
5 versus 4, so we have enough for a Guardian.
Exactly.
I didn't even look at that. Well, because we can drop the Guardian, does it really matter if we take 10 damage?
I would probably let this go through.
We're not going to block a lot. They're overwhelmed anyway.
Yeah, it's like for 2 HP, it doesn't really put us into crucial range, right? We're still even out of double fervor range. Opponent only has 3 real cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that looks fine.
Okay.
Now we do need to be a bit cautious, though. So what is your thought process here?
Well, I mean, it's either we Morning Light to swing for damage pressure, and obviously we get another Celestial.
Mm-hmm.
We can Genevieve, which is not really a benefit right now, I don't think. Like, unless he drops Swain into the Genevieve, which I don't think he will. Or it's just Garen, but Garen can't actually attack. Just because of the 5/5s.
Okay. What's the way we lose this game, though?
Swain stun locking us.
Yeah, it's probably just like either Swain or Leviathan. What I'm trying to get to is you can probably open attack with Radiant Guardian only here. Because that's what I said, like what I tried to say earlier, is that right now we're we have much more cards in hand, and we have removal for our opponent's win conditions. So we're actually kind of the deck in control right now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the one way that our opponent wins is, say, we play Genevieve and our opponent plays, I don't know, Stun Spider into Swain and stun locks us or something. Or plays like Leviathan, and we don't have mana to remove it this turn. So therefore, I think in this current game state, it's better to become the deck in control, the reactive deck.
Oh, there's Avalanche.
Okay, so opponent does play Avalanche.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fine, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he's for sure going to play Swain this turn, right? Because he just cleared the board, so why wouldn't he play Swain?
Yeah. But is that like a real problem?
Not really. Because we can obliterate him, but then we don't have any mana to develop for his open attack.
Yeah, I like both, either like passing and obliterating Swain or just developing Garen. The reason is that we can still hush Swain in case our opponent tries to stun lock us.
Mm-hmm. I think it's better to play Garen on board.
We can also pass first, because right now our opponent's open attack isn't really scary, is it? But we can also develop Garen if we just want to go the safer route. That our opponent doesn't pass back.
I mean, if he passes back, what is he losing versus what are we losing?
We'd lose 2 more mana, so... and the downside of developing is like not having options open.
Yeah, I think we just play Garen.
Yeah, I can get on board. I think this is one of those spots where both plays are fine. The outcome is going to be about the same.
Does he have a way to deal with Judgment? Or I guess, like, I don't know. I've seen some people do some weird things, but like, if we get stun locked and he full swings into us, we can just hush Garen and Judgment if we keep the mana for it.
Oh yeah, that would work as well. Except that Garen's... yeah. It would die while blocking Swain. And it's kind of susceptible to removal or troll chanty stuff.
If he troll chants and you hush, does that remove the debuff?
Yes. Yeah, I like it. Oh, you didn't lock into the judgment.
I did not. Well, yeah, I should have just judgmented. I was trying to think about what I want to do with the mana, and then I didn't actually do anything with it.
That's fine.
That would have just killed them both and leveled Garen.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it happens. Don't worry. I think we're still in a great spot to win this. Okay,
I mean,
right.
We just played Genevieve, right?
We could, but there's another interesting play.
I
mean,
we should probably heal Garen.
Yeah, but healing him by 3, does that save from...
It doesn't save from a Ravenous, which they have Swain on board, so it's kind of likely they have one.
Yeah, keep looking in your hand. There's actually a card that saves Garen.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense, right?
I mean, is it worth it to heal him and then play the Bright Steel?
I don't think it is.
And reach as well.
Yeah, you could do it, but I wouldn't. I think I'd rather keep the gems for options to maybe put it on Genevieve later, since she also is Challenger. It's probably more valuable there. See, with gems and Genevieve, you can now clear out Farron. Oh, we kind of need to finish the game now, though.
Yeah. Because we don't have a way to heal my HP bar.
True, true.
Can we even develop into him next turn? Like, I'm pretty sure we just have to open attack with everything next turn.
Yeah, but right now we don't win with an open attack. So we need to set up a situation where our opponent cannot play the 2 decimates without dying. I think I like commit onto Farron the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we play Genevieve next turn, and we tried like with the scout attack and with the swing afterwards. Maybe we can actually find lethal. Okay, that's scary.
Okay.
Does anything save us?
I don't think so. Man, if I just use the judgment.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry about it. We're just here to learn stuff. It happens. Yeah.
I mean, our only option is to attack. Or we just lose.
Yeah. I mean, you can surrender with this at this point.
Yeah.
But overall, that was a pretty good game. I mean, missing the judgment happens. That's nothing to have to beat yourself up over.
Darn. Okay. Shoot.
Any other questions about this game though? Like rather about overall strategy or any other decision that was tough? Anything you didn't understand?
Not particularly, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I missed the judgment, which is just lost the game from there. I guess the only... No, I don't know. I can't really remember what just happened, honestly. My brain just keeps thinking about the judgment.
That's fine. I mean, I think you played that pretty well overall, though. Yeah, to me, the most interesting part of this game was kind of realizing when we are the aggressor and when we are the person, like the deck in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as soon as our opponent played Farron, we had to be the aggressor again. Because they kind of put us on a doomsday clock.
When you're against a deck like Aurelion Sol, aren't you always the aggressor?
Unless you play Ezreal yourself, or unless you play Karma Ezreal or something like that. But yeah, at some point you do become the aggressor, right? Especially with Ezreal Karma, it's interesting. You just need to be the aggressor for like 1 or 2 turns to close out the games.
Okay.
But if you play mid-range against Ezreal, you usually are the aggressor, yes.
Yeah. I just feel like it's really difficult to actually end the game before they drop Aurelion Sol, and then he kills all of your things with obliterates.
Or maybe you do make some mistakes somewhere?
I must.
Or maybe the deck is not fast enough. Because it is true that Ezreal is really good against mid-range decks in general. And this is like...
how would you even make this deck faster? I guess just Fiora.
Yeah, and make it more like Scouts, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Targon is not a very fast region.
Scouts is okay.
Yeah, Scouts is quite fine. Oh, and you have quite the full send list. I like it.
Yeah, I had a different list, but Kuvira edited it for me. He said that, well, he switched out some things. He said the hired guns are always better than, what was it? Single combat.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I like single combat. I might put it back in eventually. But...
Yeah, both are fine. If you don't play Bannerman, I kind of get the idea of having hired guns in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because if you play Bannerman, you can't really play more bilge cards than Petty and MF, which are the best bilge cards for scouts.
I think Petty Officer might actually just be the best Bilgewater card ever.
Yeah, like, well, along with Riptide Rex.
Yeah, and Riptide Rex. Riptide Rex is definitely super strong.
Okay. Yeah, whichever deck you feel like playing.
Oh, I want to play this one again.
Sure. Okay. What do you think here?
So against Karma, we are the aggressor, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So do we even keep the Leona?
Good question. What are you thinking? What are the ups? What are the downs?
I mean, because Leona doesn't really slow anything down here, but she has a lot of HP to tank like Ezreal card damage and possibly get in Nexus health.
True. Also, look at the attack token whenever you decide something like this.
We're attacking on evens.
Yeah.
So we would drop her and then attack.
Yeah. Also, Leona's only 4-drop, if I recall correctly, right?
She is our only 4-drop.
Yeah, I don't mind keeping her. I would not have kept her if you wouldn't have a 1-drop in hand, though. I will mention that. But already having some other good start allows us to be greedier.
I mean, do we drop the 1-drop to start anyway?
Yeah, I would just curve out. There's a decent chance we draw a 3-drop by 3 as well. We run, what, like 4? 4 or 5 3-drops?
4 3-drops. The Mentor and
the Priestess, right?
Yeah, the Priestess. I couldn't think of what it was.
Yep, that's some pretty good damage.
Mystic Shot. Oh, I was wrong.
That's a fine trade.
I don't think... Okay, he probably doesn't even have Mystic Shot in hand, right? Otherwise he would have just used it.
Probably not, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be a second static shot coming, but that's fine.
I think he has a second static shot. But he doesn't have enough mana for a Thermo Beam on Leona anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Can you stun their Nexus?
With Riot Spaghetti Code, you never know. Maybe you can.
Yeah, second static. I mean, there's no way to stop like double static shock.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay so far. Our hand's a bit awkward. We're finding out of the removal, which we really don't want in this match, or don't need in this matchup, rather.
Yeah, I mean, the only one we need is the single combat for Ezreal. That's it.
Ooh.
Is it worth it to consider Strike the Faithfolk?
I was just gonna say I would definitely consider it. I mean, we don't really have another play this turn. Seems okay to me.
Yeah, because we have the single combat for Ezreal. And he's weak, so...
Yep. Also Hush in case opponent attacks with Ezreal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ideally you do want to keep Concerted Strike for Karma and so on, but... we literally don't have another good play this turn. Except Judgment, I guess. She looks a bit like an overkill.
I think we just Genevieve off the bat.
I like it.
Because now we're threatening to put him on, what, 1 HP? Unless he thermal beams.
Well, Palm is the most likely answer here, but Genevieve.
Palm's card.
Yeah. But Genevieve is for sure the best play. Okay.
Okay, so we have 2 single combats. So if we use her to single combat, we get 10 damage in.
Exactly. So you turn your single combat into a deal 5 damage to enemy Nexus. I really like it. I'm surprised he's beaming Leona and not Jenny.
Genevieve. Yeah, it's really interesting. We have another one in hand too.
Yeah, this is his best case scenario for us.
So if he open passes, do we just end the round and swing again?
Yeah, Well, we could. Yeah, no, I think I would probably end, especially with the scout attack.
Yeah, we just get a scout attack, and we win.
Yeah. Also, if our opponent stuns Jenny on the first attack, what else can we do?
Okay, so our options here are either Ravun or drop Leona, which stuns, and then we get the swing.
Yes, but get a bit creative here.
I mean, can we hush Genevieve?
Yeah. Not now, but like...
Yeah, after the stun happens.
Exactly.
So if he plays a card that can block, then we drop the Leona.
Exactly.
If he doesn't, we drop Ravun.
Yep. Even if he plays 2 cards that can block, right? We have single combat as well. Oh, that's a great find.
Okay, so Ezreal... He doesn't have enough mana for 2 pawns anymore.
No, but... Yeah. I mean, you saw him play another stun earlier. He could... We never know if opponent runs 3 Steel Tempest, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what opponent does first here. What's our current plan for this turn?
I think single combat Ezreal with... I think we single combat Ezreal with Ravun because there's no way Ravun dies.
Yep.
And then we hush and move on.
Yeah. Hush Jenny and this should be GG. Nice.
Yeah, there's no way for him to kill him. Deny though. Okay.
Yeah, but what happens now?
We still end the game.
Yep.
Because we just hush Genevieve and we can't pull Ezreal, but it doesn't matter because you can only block the person.
It's straight up lethal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hush is kind of a good card. I heard some people say.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little too versatile, probably.
Such a value bomb, it's crazy.
Can Purify silence your own units?
Yeah, that actually works, but not your champs.
Yeah.
Your followers.
I mean, it's permanent though, anyway, which makes it worse. Not in my opinion, for obviously silencing your own units.
Yeah, I do agree.
I mean, that game was pretty cut and dry. Alright, like the HP on units was just too much for him to remove.
Yeah, yeah. Also, the thermo beam decision was weird. I think it was mainly easy for us because our opponent made questionable decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we saw the right lines of play, I think. Kind of punished our opponent's mistakes.
Yeah. He just... I don't know. The thermo beam doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Yeah. Swain TF is the same deal as Swain Trundle, just the Leviathan TF stunlock at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mentor doesn't really do much here because it just dies to make it rain.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys don't do anything. We just keep Leona, I think.
Wait, who has the token? I didn't. Okay.
He has token, so we're attacking on evens.
Yeah, looks fine. I could we can consider keeping Concerted Strike because it removes our opponent's 2 most important cards, which are Swain and Leviathan. Yeah,
but I mean, we have 3 of them, so the chance of us drawing it by the time we get there is pretty high. And I think that it's better to fish for like a 1-drop.
Yeah, it's fair. I would if we would have like a 1-drop and a 2-drop, I'd probably keep the Concerted Strike.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that doesn't help me much. That doesn't help me much either.
There we go. It's something.
Yeah. We have enough mana for single combat, so I mean we could. It's better to save this for TF, but
yeah, for sure.
We could single combat the spider.
What a great play would that be?
What a fantastic play. I mean, Petty Officer, yeah. I'm pretty sure we block Petty Officer.
Yep.
We have Leona in hand.
Yeah, blocking the 1/2 seems greedy, especially knowing that opponent plays both Make It Rain and Twisted Fate red card.
Mm-hmm. Is it worth it to try to pass to get him to play Twisted Fate before we play Leona? Because she's just gonna just get gold carded.
Okay, so the higher level of play your opponent is, the more I would say don't do it. So if you want to learn to play really well, I would probably get used to, like, the better your opponents get, the less they fall for these tricks, because there's no reason for your opponent not to end turn. He has a board lead, he burns less mana than you. Like, I would probably just develop Leona here, just assuming my opponent is going to play well.
Okay. I mean, when he gold cards, we can still single combat. But that puts her in Make It range, or Make It Rain range.
Yeah. But
which sucks.
Do we have to single combat this turn?
No. I mean, now he just barely... So, he must not have TF in hand, right? Like, if he's not playing him?
Not necessarily. He might also keep him. Leona is not a super high priority target.
Is it worth it to swing?
I do like it, but Flock is annoying. But Flock's always going to be annoying on offense and on defense, right? The only difference would be that on offense we can kill a... Like, we're going to kill a 1/1 spider, whereas on defense we can block a 2/2. But I think I would swing here.
I mean, okay. So in this kind of board state, how do you know if you want to, like, be the defender right now versus the aggressor? Because obviously he has the Flock. Potentially.
Potentially. This is one good spot to get familiar with the odds of our opponent holding a certain removal card by a certain turn. Like, that's where you can play around with a hypergeometric calculator, it's called. If you know your opponent runs a 3-off, the chance of them having it by turn 4 if they looked for it in the mulligan are 60-ish%, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you can do this all in maths and probabilities. I'm pretty sure it's better to swing here if we're behind on board, because Leona can then go 2 or 3 for 1.
And you block with it 2/2, which is weird to me. Because he's just flocking anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess he's playing for Pale Cascade, but is it worth it to single combat the House Spider? We take 4 damage on open attack. And if he develops, we play Garen, and then we have single combat for him.
It's probably okay. Because we don't hold this Radiant Guardian, I think I would take a single combat here. If we trade this with another Flock, it's actually completely fine.
Yeah. I mean, he's played 2 House Spiders so far. So he's probably not going to have another one. Which means you won't have another, like, free drop.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine for us.
Yeah. I think we just play Ravun, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting decision. Why would Ravun be better, and why would Garen be better?
I mean, Ravun is better because it gives us another option when it generates a card, and obviously it's a perfect time to do the stay break.
Okay.
Garen is potentially just gets killed by a gold card and a Flock, which is better if he uses it on the Ravun. And Garen's not getting like a stack on his level up condition because he already swung, and we don't have enough mana for a single combat.
Okay, but do we need to level Garen this turn?
Well, we don't need to level Garen this turn, no. But next turn, our plays are either Genevieve or Garen, and it's likely going to be Genevieve.
And also, do we need the extra Daybreak card if we already have our next 2 turns planned? Like, I would be tempted to play Garen here for sure.
Yeah.
Another reason, like, we also just saw our opponent play a Flock, so the likelihood of him being able to remove him is less. And also, if our Garen gets removed, we have a second one in hand. So overall, I actually like developing Garen a lot more. Don't forget that even if our opponent does have another flock and we level Garen with a single combat, the second Garen's already gonna be leveled.
Yeah, true.
Okay, what do you think?
So, with the powder keg, the Noxian Fervor kills Garen unless it strikes a powder keg, but if it's going for the powder keg, then he just fervors anyways, and he just does the Nexus, which refuses the strike.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we still just played Genevieve, because that gives our Garen 6/6, and then she can force remove the powder keg.
Okay.
Or we play Rune for the daylight, and then we have a single combat, which we can use to kill the powder keg if he uses and tries to trigger damage.
True. I actually think both lines are good. I would, yeah, as you wish.
Rune. That's actually not bad.
It's pretty good for next turn.
The 2-drop would have been better, but you know, can't have everything, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, in like this kind of setup, I feel like the overwhelm unit would work out really well. So, okay, so now is where we would just single combat the powder keg, right?
It's definitely an interesting play. The problem with single combating powder kegs is always if opponent has another damage spell. We waste our single combat.
He has 4 mana, so it's pretty likely that he does. And Garen's already going to be in flock range, no matter what I do.
Yeah, what else can we do, though?
It's just single combat Twisted Fate is our other choice. Or we just pass and wait for regeneration.
Exactly. And if we pass for regeneration, which other play do we have when opponent open attacks?
Judgment.
Yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so this will just do the Ravenous anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So now is where we would single combat Twisted Fate.
Okay,
sure.
wait, click on your opponent's deck. Okay, Swain's already leveled. If Swain was not leveled yet, I'd probably have single combated the Patty to deny the flock.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm fine with single combating TF. Like, TF is not really a threat yet, right? I wouldn't mind single combating the Patty, both are fine.
Yeah, I mean, the Petty just... Yeah, I mean, quick attack doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's like we have Genevieve, we have Concerted Strike, we have single combat. So I'd lean towards... This can get punished, but it's unlikely with our opponent holding 2 cards in hand that it gets punished.
Mm-hmm.
I think that looks a bit better.
Because the only card you can play is Fervor. That would refuse that, but then it's like, sure. I mean, is there... I mean, that puts us in Make It Rain range.
Mm-hmm. I would probably not swing here. Or... The problem is not only Make It Rain, but also Death's Hand.
Yeah. Okay. So then this turn... Okay, he's open attacking.
If he doesn't swing with Twisted Fate, we get valuable information as well.
Okay. So we can block the 2/2 and single combat TF. Which I think is the best play we can go for.
We could also keep the single combat for Garen.
I mean, we have 2 Concerted Strikes in hand.
That's reasonable.
Combat
but
for Garen.
What are, like, yeah. It's both good. It's just like, plan out the next 2 turns. Think about what you're doing this turn and what you're doing next turn.
I mean, he can't play Leviathan yet. So we have enough time to develop and wait for it. I don't like to be on 8 HP.
Yeah, okay. Single combat's fine.
Yeah.
What I was trying to get to is that you're probably playing Garen this turn, and next turn you're probably playing Soldier into Genevieve, which means you don't have Concerted Strike mana for your opponent's Leviathan turn. If you play Genevieve.
Yeah.
Also with your opponent having 2 cards in hand. I mean, it's annoying to go down to like 8 HP, but it's unlikely. Like, they just used Fervor.
Well, so in terms of playing Genevieve into Leviathan, what does it matter if we have the single combat?
No, single combat is fine. It's just that... Oh, wait, give me a second. You know what? You might actually be right. Maybe single combating was just straight up better.
I mean, he used the Noxus River on not Nexus damage.
Yeah, that's fair.
2 out of 8 TF.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because like we can level Garen on our turn 8, so we can already attack again on our on turn 9, which means we get to rally 1 turn earlier, right? But then again, yeah. Now that I think of it, it's probably not that important. So the way you did it may have been better. Okay, how many?
If he uses 2 salvages, I think we just Concerted Strike.
Yeah.
TF.
True. But our opponent just used the salvage, right? And did you notice what got tossed?
I did not. Another salvage.
So there's no way TF levels this turn. Also, very important, what did our opponent just tap out of?
He just tapped out of...
Like, what else could save Twisted Fate if we develop Genevieve?
Nothing.
There's a 3 mana unit.
He only has 2 mana.
Yeah. That's why I'm asking, like, what did he tap out of?
Oh, the spider.
Exactly. So I really like Genevieve here now.
I mean, so do we use Genevieve? Obviously, we clear out TF with Genevieve. But then the question is, what do we use Genevieve on next? And I feel like if we use her on the Flower Child, I mean, she's in Make It Rain range, and we can remove... Is it worth it to get the damage on Swain, is basically what I'm asking.
Let's first see what happens here. Maybe we don't even have to...
You could make it rain here and try to high roll. Okay, so let's see. I really kind of want to remove the casket, but I don't feel like there's a point to.
It's fine. It's fine. Our opponent only holds 2 cards. It's very possible that he doesn't have a way of proccing it right now. So what pulls what?
That is a good question. I mean, does Genevieve pull the casket or does she pull the Flower Child? I think is really the question.
What are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards her pulling the casket.
Why?
Because it keeps her out of Make It Rain range.
But right now, if our opponent holds Make It Rain, she's already dead, isn't she?
There's a chance that she doesn't die, but it's likely she does.
True, okay. Okay, I'm actually fine with both, but I would pull the casket with a 4/4 because it also makes the Swain block bad.
Yeah, you're right.
And the only way to remove Genevieve is either Make It Rain, which opponent could already play now, or top deck TF, which opponent only has 2 left, right? In deck.
He's played... Yeah, he only has 2 left in deck.
So I think, like, statistically, this is really good. Swain's Flock, sure. Happens.
Okay. I mean, that's just Swain that got shuffled back into his deck. So we can sort of strike this one.
Second Flock would be scary as hell, but that would also be lucky as hell. I
mean, realistically, our only option is Concerted Strike, right?
Why?
Because then if he uses removal on Genevieve, we have a second Concerted Strike.
Yeah, I like it.
I almost wonder if it would have been better to switch these two so the 2/2 lives. Yeah, so there's another Ravenous.
That's the third Ravenous flock already. And the TF. And the Swain's flock. Our opponent's drawing really well.
Yeah, so that's all 3 Ravenous flocks.
Mm-hmm. I think we take the Concerted. It's super unlikely that the top deck card is Leviathan. It's possible, but unlikely.
And the only other option he has would be to kill Genevieve with Noxian Fervor or Death Sand, which...
Yeah, or another Swain's flock, but...
He's played 1 Noxian Fervor, and he hasn't played any Dead Hands.
Yeah, I like the Concerted Strike, though. Just remember that this is the top deck card. I'm not sure if you watch the positions of opponents' cards in hand, but...
No.
This is only, like, below 20% to be able to remove Genevieve. Again. Also, if it was removal for Genevieve, our opponent probably would have played it before attacking, which makes it even less likely.
Okay, well, he passed. So... It's a Riptide Rex, right? It has to be.
Oh, it could also be some other stuff. Maybe something like Culling Strike. Maybe... I'd need to see a deck list.
I mean, maybe it's a Guillotine. Maybe it's a Culling Strike.
Yeah, I feel like opponent would have used Guillotine on Jenny, though.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a good habit to start thinking about, like, start hand reading, though, when opponent's low on cards in hand. Oh, nice. Sisters or Written in Stars? Or Obliterate? Well, how do we lose this game?
I mean, we lose this game by not having any units on board, because we have a Judgment and a Guardian in hand, honestly.
Yeah, but we have a Guardian and a Judgment in hand.
Yeah.
And our opponent just had 1 dead card somewhat, right?
Yeah.
I'd actually, I'd heavily lean towards Comet. Like, all 3 are good, but...
Comet just deletes Leviathan.
Exactly, and I think right now Leviathan's the only way we lose this.
I really feel like that's a Riptide Rex.
Oh, it was... Wait, that was played from the right. No, that was from the left.
No, that was
from the left.
That was a top deck. Okay, this has to be Rex. He's gonna Rex.
Yeah.
So does Rex kill me here?
No. Rex always does 7 damage, and if you have a unit on board, it does 6. So you can still play Radiant Guardian.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a choice. I can't do anything about Rex early. So he just Rexes. Yeah. But I don't die. So then it's just if he top decks Fervor? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if he draws Fervor, he draws Fervor. Maybe we draw single combat.
Super unlikely. Yo, Hyped coming in with a big raid. 222 people. Thank you, Hyped. Much appreciated.
Ooh.
Okay, that is annoying.
I think we... No, we can't...
We can't...
No!
Damn, we actually can't deal with it. GG though. Yo, everyone coming over from Hyped stream. We're currently doing a live coaching session in Platinum Elo. Trying to refine and have success on a Leona Garen mid-rangey deck.
Dang it.
Unfortunate sequence of events, but I don't think there's anything we can do here.
Okay. We could have won that game though. Like, what did we change to win that game?
I think we played that pretty well overall. If you want, we can rewatch this game, look through decision points, but
I honestly want to rewatch it. I definitely could have won that game.
Okay. What we can do is I just pull my own VOD on my stream.
Okay.
And you just jump into, like, you also watch the stream for a second. And we just go through decision points.
Okay. Alright, I have it pulled up.
Oh, that also works.
Okay.
And you just jump into like your... Oopsie. Also, what lobster?
I mean, okay. So out of... Dang it. Okay, so we lose to Leviathan. When we had the... I mean, when we invoked, would it have been worth it to pick up... Well, we had written in the stars, the Comet, or Sisters, right? I mean, is it worth it to pull... Because if we pull Written in the Stars, then whatever we pull dies to Riptide Rex anyway,
True,
right?
true. Like, Sisters would have actually been a fine pull. Don't get me wrong. I just think Comet is so much better.
Just because it deals with the Leviathan, which is the biggest threat?
Yeah, exactly. Unless you kind of had a very good gut read. I wasn't that sure that the last card left would have actually been a Riptide Rex. Because there can also be some other like bricks cards in that situation. Obviously, it was still super unlucky that our opponent top decked an Activator on the very next turn. So we definitely, before that top deck, we were like 90-something% to win this, I'm pretty sure. It's literally just make it rain a Death's Hand that gives us trouble. Alright, let's go play by play here. So you'll probably have a like 1 or 2 second delay. We should be fine. Mulligan, I think we're happy with.
Yeah, I think so too, honestly. Well, I mean, an argument honestly could be made to hold on to Star Shaping just because you know he's going to be doing Nexus damage.
It was the Karma Ezreal game, that's my bad.
Oh, yeah, my bad too. I didn't look.
There we go. Ah, yeah, this Mulligan. Yeah, still, I think that's pretty fine. We have the token on 4 as well. Wait, is that the right game? Or did we do another one?
No, you're on the right game now.
Okay. Yeah, that was with Gift Givers. Yeah, Mulligan looks fine to me. Mulligan is one, like, very underestimated thing. It can be super impactful in a game. That was all pretty straightforward. We could consider blocking the 1-2 here, but I think it's worse. I think that was all good.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where you were considering going for the pass play, right? Play one TF.
Because he definitely had TF in hand. He plays it later from not his top deck slot. But he does just do a House Spider here, and then okay, I just really don't know if it's worth the 2 tag, because then he Ravenous Flocks, and I feel like if we block damage from what we want to first, it might be better.
The downside is, like, on our next attack, Leona eats a Ravenous Flock anyway, right?
Yeah.
So the outcome would have been the exact same. Like, Leona blocks the 2-2 instead of attacking into it, and then tanks a Ravenous Flock. And there's probably around a 40% chance that our opponent does not hold Flock, maybe even 50. And I think just the upside of that is really worth it.
Yeah, you're right.
It's obviously... Well, yeah, opponent did play around Pay Cascade, right?
Yeah, that's why he blocked the 2-2.
Yeah, I think it's same outcome.
Yeah, because we didn't draw a Pale Cascade the whole game.
The Singing Combat is also debatable, but I think it was good, considering that our opponent had a board lead and we don't have healing in hand yet.
I feel like it's better to just definitely... Yeah, it's probably best to just use the unit there. I mean, an argument... It's tough because then we were on 1 mana, like 1 spell mana for the next 2 turns, which I felt like in the actual game playing through was really uncomfortable. So I really wonder if it was worth using the single combat there.
That is true. It did save us 2 HP though. It comes back on the turn after this, right? Because then we could have developed Genevieve instead of Ravoon. and still have single combat mana. But we would have had 2 less HP. And we also would have had to single combat with one of these units, putting them into, like, making them removable by Flock.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's close. I'm not sure if single combat was the best play there, but I think, like, this is one of those spots where it's both plays are fine. It's very hard to say which one is higher EV, like higher likelihood of winning.
Yeah.
But this is also a very, very interesting turn. Genevieve or Ravoon.
Yeah. I in retrospect, I feel like Genevieve would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravoon doesn't necessarily give us anything. Like, it's the same amount of kill pressure.
Yeah. By the way, he only pulled a TF here. Like, he plays this from the very left.
Oh, really?
Oh no, I was blind. Okay, you were right.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was. But...
yeah. I see your doubt about the Ravoon, though.
Well, but then he just uses the red card, and then he flocks anyway, and then we single combat the petty officer. If we Genevieve, we don't have single combat, and Garen still dies to a flock.
True, but Genevieve can at least, like, get rid of the 2 1/2s.
But if we play Genevieve there, does he gold card instead of red carding?
That's an interesting question. I think not. Maybe he would have.
Would gold guard have hit Genevieve over Garen?
Yeah, she has 1 more cost, so yes.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so I actually don't know exactly how gold card works. Does it function off of, like, stat line first and then, like, keywords and then mana cost?
No, it's attack, then health, then mana, and then the leftmost unit, according to Riot, but that seems to be bugged sometimes.
Okay.
And keywords are supposed to not play a role.
Really? Oh, I thought this whole time that they did. Like, I thought, like, if you had 2 5/5s and one of them had Challenger.
Yeah.
But I guess that would have always come down to the mana cost, not the keyword. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still sometimes not sure if it's actually random or if it's first played or if it's leftmost. It seems to not always be leftmost for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wait, let's see. I'll see in a second what chat is saying. Unfortunately, I can't read chat right now since I'm in my own browser. Let me pull this up. But yeah, this would have actually... This is definitely an interesting decision point. But even in game, we said both plays are probably about equally good, right? Like playing Ravoon or playing Genevieve.
Oh, someone in chat said Garen becomes a 6/6 though, so he gets stunned anyway. Which
wait,
puts him in
if Garen only becomes a 6/6 if we double single combat here.
No, Garen in the last turn where we were talking about Genevieve or not. Because if we Genevieve, then Garen becomes a 6/6, which means that...
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, true.
He wants to remove him with the Ravenous Flock, and then we have the Genevieve up anyway.
Right.
So I think Genevieve was the play. Yeah, I'm looking at this now. Genevieve would have been better here. Because we remove the TF instantly before he's able to use mana further down the line.
But TF never mattered, did he?
I mean...
So we assume he still plays Ravenous Flock on Garen, right?
Yeah, that's the assumption. I mean, I guess TF wasn't much of a problem. It just was because he gemmed him to make him a 3, and then we tried to kill him with single combat, and then we couldn't. He used a... Well, is it... So I guess the question really is it worth... Because Garen dies no matter what. So the question is it worth this turn right here where we trade? Where he loses a 1/2 and we lose a 5/3. I lose 2 spell mana and he loses 3.
And he loses 3 potential Nexus. Well, but he gets it back by the TF. I mean, we could have also single combat and then concerted strike over the top. I don't think that would have been good. See, the thing is, even if he would have played Genevieve, like, he could have cleared her out last turn, don't forget. He still had 3 mana, and I think he already had the Fervor in hand. So...
Well, no, but the argument is that he would have had to... No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, she would have been 3 HP anyway.
I was actually surprised that he didn't do this Fervor play at the end of his turn. He could have pushed more damage in, because we were at 0 mana. And he played the Fervor from the middle of the hand.
Wait, so how does waiting to play Fervor benefit him there?
It doesn't.
Because
that's why... Right, I think we tapped out of mana the turn... Here, we were at 0 mana. If he here would have used Fervor from the Gift Giver onto Ravun, he would have pushed 2 more damage.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Right, because now he plays the Fervor from the middle. That means last turn it was the leftmost card. Yeah, but honestly, I think like these are obviously very close decision points, and I think both plays we could have done are good plays and like plays that put us in a winning position. It's obviously a close game, and it ended up by our opponent kind of getting lucky with the last 2 top decks.
It's really painful that he pulled the stun.
But TF would have died, so he pushes less damage if he doesn't use Fervor. No, if he uses Fervor the turn before, we don't have a unit on board.
And then he gems, which is burst, and then just pushes.
Exactly.
And we can't
then
kill
we
him
would have been at 7.
Unit on board. Yeah. I guess that's the only like bad thing about mid-range decks is like you have to have a unit on board to actually do anything with spells.
That's true, but generally with these decks you will have units on board. I mean, we had units most of the time.
Yeah.
We also just were like, what, 1 HP off, even in the final sequence.
Oh, okay,
or 1
so right
behind.
here, I think I made a mistake on pulling TF with Genevieve first. Because he was on 2 mana, I think I should have just double pulled Swain with Genevieve.
And let TF live?
Well, because he's what? He's 4 out of 8 right now? Or 5 out of 8? So the only thing that... This is just right after he salvaged, I'm pretty sure, right? Or am I missing something?
Yeah.
So we know that he shredded the other salvage.
But didn't he still have like Swain's Ravenous Flock or some stupid stuff like that?
He had a Swain's Ravenous Flock, but we didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we kind of had answers for Swain.
Yeah. If we double pull Swain though, because he uses the flock on Garen. If we double pull Swain, then he uses the flock, then he can't kill Garen, at least. And I think Garen generates you more value than Genevieve, right? Just because they're regeneration. That's
fair. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. I wouldn't have mind double pulling. It's susceptible to make it rain or another flock. I think that's it on 2 mana.
Yeah. And since he had the flock in hand and he didn't make it rain here where Genevieve killed Flower Child, I think.
Yeah, but I mean yeah, at this point it's super unlikely that he holds flocks since he already played 2 or 3 in this game.
Just because it was a Swain's. Yeah, I don't know. I think it would have been better to double pull Swain, and then Garen would have lived. Swain lives anyways, but then we have the double concerted strike next turn regardless.
Yeah, I can get behind it.
So I think that one thing changes. We have more pressure, which could change the outcome of the game. But
yeah, one upside would have been we wouldn't have had to double concerted strike here anymore if that would have gone through. Yeah, but I wouldn't call it a definite misplay the way that you ended up doing it, to be honest. It just plays around different stuff.
Yeah,
and right. Yeah, this one's also interesting. I don't think we ever take Written in Stars here, to be honest.
Can you explain why? Because I think Written in Stars would actually have been like not a bad choice, right? Because what if we pull like Leona with 2/2 plus on her stallion?
Okay, yeah, good question. The answer to this is you always need to think yourself, or to ask yourself, how do I win this game and how does my opponent win this game? So which card that I pick is either gonna help me win the game the most or gonna prevent my opponent from winning the game the most?
Yeah, and in this instance, we're most worried about Leviathan.
Exactly. So there's two things. Yeah, our opponent basically wins in two ways. It's either Leviathan into Swain into us not having an answer, or it's like ridiculous Mork face damage or stun locking. Yeah, pretty much that. And if you look at our hand, we already have Radiant Guardian against one of those win conditions, right?
Yeah.
Which would be these Mork ridiculous face damage. And that's why I don't think we need to double down. See, Golden Sister would be the card that most just pushes our win condition. And that would have been like going wide on board and starting to put damage in. But since we kind of already... I think Falling Comet kind of fills the void. Like, it's most likely... Or rather, it answers our opponent's most likely threat, was my reasoning.
It really yeah, I can see how it just fills the gap that's in our current hand. So I guess Written Stars would have been the worst. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
there's
I think
not really a benefit in pulling Leona, but there is a benefit in the Sisters, and there's a benefit in the Comet.
Exactly. And Garen also it's at this point, it's kind of just a vanilla unit. It's kind of a win more card, because only, like, if our opponent does not have a threat, then it makes us win faster. And it kind of, yes, it lowers the chance of top deck and stuff like that, but yeah, both Sister and Comet would have been good here, but since Radiant Guardian is kind of like Sisters, I like Falling Comet.
Yeah, you're right. I think, I don't know, because at this point in time, I was, at least for myself, I was pretty confident he had Riptide Rex. And I think because that was my thought process, the Sisters would have been better. And it would have been better to pull the Sisters, develop the Sisters, and then attack. Because it's impossible for him, because if we have the Sisters right there and we just play them, there's a chance Make It Rain doesn't hit the Nexus, which means Riptide Rex is nullified, and we get the HP off of Golden Sister. Yeah,
that is true. But that seems very results biased, because it would literally, like, it only applies if your opponent does 100%, like if you're 100% sure opponent holds Rex, and that also he top decked one of those few activators left in deck.
Death Hand or...
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it just doesn't matter if he has a Death Hand.
Another thing that chat noticed earlier is we could have just ended turn here.
Instead of attacking with the 1/2.
Yeah. It's something I didn't consider myself. It just kind of happened very fast.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't think passing would have been good, though. Or, no, we could have ended the round.
Exactly. I think that would have actually been... Like, now that I saw it in the chat, I think that would have been the best play.
That definitely would have been the best play. To just end the round. God, I get so greedy on trying to get, like, max value out of everything.
I mean, I understand why you made that play. It's super unlikely that your opponent has the hand he has. Even if you're sure this is a Rex, this is only, like, below 20% to be a card that activates him. But yeah, if we want to make sure we click end round here, because next turn, if our opponent does make it rain into Rex, we have the option of commenting the Rex or developing Radiant Guardian.
Yeah. Decisions, all of them wrong.
Yeah, also, don't forget, he also had to top deck the Arachnoid Sentry. It's actually ridiculously unlikely that...
Yeah.
So our opponent kind of... Are you familiar with poker terminology?
I'm not.
Okay. we call that a runner if you need like 2 cards that like are both super unlikely and you need both to still turn the hand around.
Yeah, and if I top deck my last Concerted Strike or single combat, I don't lose right now. Like if I top deck my very last Concerted Strike, I just win the game.
Yeah, or Hush would have also been fine. Hush into Judgment. You actually had outs, and your opponent was... Okay, so he was, say, 20% to pull removal, then he's 3 out of 24 or something, which is 12% to pull the spider. So your opponent was like 2 or 3% to win the game at that point. It's just card game. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. I think we did kind of well playing around the more likely threat of Leviathan.
Yeah, I think the biggest change in that game, honestly, is just the Genevieve over the Ravine in the earlier stages. I think that would have changed some things.
Yeah, that would have definitely been interesting. There were a couple of close calls. I don't think we made any big misplay in any, but maybe we made some like suboptimal plays. That might be true.
Yeah.
Alright, want to go back into... Alright, back in the client.
Yes.
You want to take... Yeah, whichever deck you want to take for another spin, actually.
I mean, honestly, I kind of want to just play the same one.
Yeah, that's fine. I think there's a lot to be learned with this deck. We're getting a lot of close decisions and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to play this one.
Yeah, Cephalopod in chat is also saying getting Rex there was good for you. Your win percentage went up to like 85%. I will say I think our win percentage was a bit higher before the Rex. But it's still like... Literally, Arachnoid Sentry was the only out, literally. And I think at that point it was, yeah, like 3 out of 24, so we had 87%.
I'm pretty sure we only mulligan Star Shaping here, right?
Yes. There could even be a case made for keeping Star Shaping.
Well, looking at it, he's going to have Powder Monkeys. And if we have the Star Shaping in hand, then we can allow those to pass through towards Nexus. He's attacking on odds. Yeah, I can see keeping it. Because then we can let the Powder Monkeys through. Because they're going to deal damage to the Nexus anyways.
It's like we can, we don't have to.
I'm going to keep it.
By the way, another reason I don't really like one-off Star Shaping in this is that the best Star Shaping spells are only good if you Behold.
Yeah.
And you don't really have another Invoke, right? Except for Solari Priestess.
I mean, we have the Priestess, but usually when I Star Shaping, I've found that with this deck, it's in a stage of the game where I can pull the unit that it gives you, which is usually like a 10 cost, like 10/10 or something with Challenger. And it like can really help as like a finisher for the game. Because even if there's 2 cards that require you to Behold, like there's always one card that doesn't. At least I haven't ran into a situation where all 3 cards are unusable. We just curve here, right?
Yeah, I probably would have even swung with the 2/2. You don't have to, though. It's fine.
I mean, so what happens if we trade the 2/2 for the Butcher? Because he would have blocked.
Then the Butcher can't block the 3/2 on our next swing anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I can get behind. There's also upside to keeping this in the back line because we can also get like choose our blocks on defense.
Okay, with the 3/2, so we can block the 3/2 with the 2/2, and then the 2/1 with the 3/2 if we want to.
Yeah, I think we for sure develop here. Leona flips on 4. It's looking good. Okay,
so we get either... This is... Okay. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
No, this is another interesting one. I was just gonna... I want to hear your thought process.
I want Ridden Stars because I don't have a Garen in hand, and against like Gangplank, who I don't think has a really good way to deal with a regeneration Garen that's a 7/7 with it, but like before being flipped is really good.
True.
And if we pull a Leona, then we pull a Leona, which sucks.
Okay, feel free to take it.
I mean, the only other option in my head is the Traveler, which would give you another invoke option. Oh, I did not click fast enough.
Okay, that's fine. I actually would have said
for me.
I would have said Sisters is, in my opinion, is the best pull, unironically. But also, I'm not sure if you know the opponent's deck lists. They usually run 3 Riptide Rexes and 3 Decimates. It's quite the smork list. 3 Fervors as well.
Is it worth it to stop Gangplank level up by blocking I mean, is there...
I wouldn't do it, I think. I think that list doesn't even run Monkey Idol, to be honest.
I mean, it's just 1 stack, but what is keeping the 1/2 give us?
Better jump block later on against something bigger. My reason is that the Sisters are gonna give you full life again anyway, most likely. And at this point, Gangplank is not gonna level up before like turn 8-ish.
Okay, so options. We can play Leona right away, or we can pass, which, because we have no spell mana, is not that big of a deal if he ends the turn, right?
Yeah, I don't hate passing. Yeah, both plays are fine. Thing is, whatever he plays on turn 4 can't handily block Leona anyway. So, both are fine. I would lean towards just playing her, but there's definitely a case to be made for passing.
I mean, he can play House Spider, Petty Officer, TF. I mean, Petty Officers. He already played Petty Officer last turn, so he'd have the 2 in hand. I think I'm gonna pass. And then if he plays TF, then we can play Leona.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if he plays TF, we kind of want him to block with that card anyway. Like, for example, now we'd also prefer to stun the 2/2 instead of, like, the Elusive, right? The Butcher instead of the Zap. And also, in case opponent does not have a unit and the bricked hands, just open playing Leona's better. But it's very close between both.
Yeah. I mean, if we attack here and he blocks the 2/2, then we're in flock range, but his Elusive dies.
Yeah, but the Elusive gets stunned now.
Oh yeah, the Elusive does get
It's higher
stunned.
cost.
Yeah. Is it even worth it to attack with Leona then?
I'm not 100% sure if this list runs Flock.
I mean, honestly, with Gangplank, probably not. Because Flock doesn't give you...
Yeah, I don't mind not attacking. We're definitely the, like, slower deck, the more in control deck.
Yeah. And we have a leveled Leona, so if we pull a Daybreak, which we didn't. We have a Cascade. Interesting. So we have single combat. If he plays a Twisted Fate, he's just attacking.
Thing about Twisted Fate is we really don't have to remove him right away. He's not a threat until he's at... Yeah, until he's flipped. Or until he threatens to flip.
If I block here and fail Cascade straight away, I don't get the card draw.
No. What's your reason for not blocking with Leona right now?
Just worried about the removal still.
Okay. Does the removal go through for sure?
No.
Like, what options do you have to counter removal?
Single combat, Pale Cascade, and Star Shaping.
Exactly. Star Shaping just makes Flock brick.
Yeah. We just pass again, right?
Yeah.
Because all of our options are reactionary.
Also, yeah, if our opponent burns more mana than us at the faster deck, that's really good.
If they're... Okay. So he nabbed, so the next card is going to be Bilgewater. I don't know if that matters with his hand being full. So he probably just has way more Bilgewater cards.
Chat's saying it's inconsistent with no attack from last turn. I kind of disagree, since this turn we can keep Leona alive against the flock that we couldn't have last turn.
So
I
this
think...
turn... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we could have used Star Shaping here. Pass is also fine though. Star Shaping is best if it heals our Nexus, I guess.
I mean, not really though, because we have the sisters, right?
Yeah, but we will for sure tank more Nexus damage in this game.
Yeah, no, I agree, I just think that, like, especially pulling the Radiant Guardian, that was really convenient, because then I think we can for sure use Star Shaping on a unit.
Okay.
The question is, do we open attack, or do we play the sisters?
That's a fair question. Okay, Morp in chat is also saying they don't play Flock. There's no reason to, there's no Swain. It would be a good counter to like certain mid-range deck.
I think we actually maybe just open attack. Because our HP is not really that threatened.
Yeah,
we can get more value out of Star Shaping. If we attack, they block, and then we heal.
That's fair. I would lean towards playing Sisters just for extra pressure. But both are fine again.
I'll attack. The timer is very threatening when it gets that low.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, we can either go a more aggressive route with Sisters to threaten to shorten the game, or we can take the safer route, the control route, and maybe get more value out of Star Shaping.
I wonder if this means that he has Make It Rain in hand.
Could also be Death Sand. Fervor.
Yeah. But I mean, if he has Death Sand, he would just block, or I guess keep the elusive. I keep forgetting that elusive actually like matters. Especially on leveling up his Gangplank. So he did not block Leona.
I mean, I don't mind the swing because it also allows us to develop Radiant Guardian if Leona dies.
Yeah.
But we also don't mind playing Radiant Guardian like next turn. Guardian's also gotta be sweet. Like, we want to bring it online before opponent plays Rex, I think. To soak up those hits. Lul.
Okay. Ravine. I mean, do we just develop the sisters now?
Yeah, I don't really see a better play.
Yeah. We have a blocker for the 2/2. Warning shot. So he's nabbing, right? Because he can't play a unit, so his only option is to nab with
He might have just done it for the Gangplank tick.
Oh, true.
Especially if he holds multiple warning shots.
Yeah.
That can make sense.
Because that was the warning shot that he generated with the Grifter.
Oh, Concerted Strike is such a good pickup.
Do we save it for the Gangplank, or do we just kill Ravune with it?
No, I think... Like, is Ravune a big threat?
No, and he nabbed it anyway, so it's not like... it's not like it matters.
It's unfair.
At least it's, like, passive.
Yeah.
So I think we block Ravune with the 1/2, right?
Looks good to me.
And then obviously block Elusive with Elusive so he doesn't get a Gangplank tick.
Mm-hmm. What else do we do this turn? You can already take this time to plan ahead.
I mean, we have Pale Cascade for reaction. We could Concerted Strike either of these people, but I don't think that's best. Or we block with... Or we can Pale Cascade into Judgment if we really wanted to, but I don't think there's a reason to Judgment here.
That does seem overambitious.
I think it's best to just...
Yeah, I like this.
I mean, we could protect our elusive health too. Like, do we get a better Hush?
Well, yeah, I think we can get better Hushes. Like, even a Hush on Gangplank Overwhelm might be more valuable. Thing is, we have a card that can protect our units from removal right now. Don't forget that.
The Star Shaping?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think we have enough mana to... We take the block, we develop the Radiant Guardian, and then we have enough mana for Star Shaping still.
Exactly. That was what I was trying to get to. Like, if you plan the whole turn, it looks like a really good play.
I mean, his only option is either a TF with red card, which... Okay, so then the question is it worth keeping the Elusive? And do we save the Elusive with just a Pale Cascade?
Another cool play would just be single combat.
Oh, just single combat the Twisted Fate?
Why would you single combat Twisted Fate over Ravoon here?
I don't feel like Ravoon benefits his deck at all. I guess it is just a 5-4 unit.
No, it does. Yeah, but is that a bigger problem than a 2/2? Like, you need to know that opponent's deck does not play a single draw card outside of Zap.
Spray Fin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I probably pretty often think that Twisted Fate's a way bigger deal than he actually is. And then if he uses a separate removal on the Elusive, that's fine, but we also have Pale Cascade if it's still just like a 1 damage tick.
Yeah, if it's Make It Rain, it's fine. If this trades with Death Sand, it's also not a big deal. Like, we trade 1 2-mana card for his 3-mana card.
Just went through anyway. Okay, so we just pass. We can't do anything. It's a merchant.
Sure.
He's robbing me.
Oh, I guess they do play draw after all. That's my bad.
You lied to me. I trusted you.
Yeah, the version
fine.
I saw in the tournament earlier on, the 2 versions I saw, didn't run Nab.
I mean, it's only 3 out of 8.
Yeah.
And we still have, like, a Concerted Strike. Like, if he gets, like, 2 cards away from leveling, we can just kill it.
Yeah, of course. We also have Hush, don't forget. Hush is a real oh shit button in situations.
Because he has to see you draw, right?
Yeah. Like,
So
Hush stops leveling progress for the rest of the turn.
Unless it's someone that levels in deck, right? And he does have Ravenous Flock.
Oh, okay, chat lied to us too.
God. Okay. That's fine, I guess.
I mean, yeah, the game state is looking very solid for us still.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that she dies, but does it matter? Not really.
I am a bit afraid of 3 nabbed cards though, at reduced cost.
Yeah, so he could have pulled Concerted Strike, Judgment.
There's 1.
That was nabbed too. That's not what Ravoon created.
Yep.
He nabbed 3 cards from us that round.
Yep.
So he has 2 cards in hand from my deck, and he has 1 card that Ravoon generated.
Exactly.
Which
honestly, might not be very synergistic with his deck.
Yeah, if I'm hedging my bets, I'm gonna say that he generated the Overwhelm Sun card. No, I'm being serious. I feel like that card has like a higher chance to get generated by Ravoon than anything else. Like playing Ravoon as much as I have.
That
I think we
sounds
just developed
kind of
Garen,
biased. Yeah, Garen looks awesome.
Yeah, you know what? It might be a little biased. It might be. But I really... You never know, you know? Right? Could have just made it like point something increased chance.
You never know.
And this was also nabbed. Okay, so that's 2 of the cards out of the way. So he has 1 more from me, which could be a Concerted Strike. We just attack with these 2, right? There's no reason to push with Sister?
No, yes, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. With Pale Cascade as a backup.
Yes, and more Star Shaping as a backup, because we know that he is
also true. Oh yeah,
Ravenous.
Exactly.
So I think we want to hold on to this for sure.
Yeah, it looks fine. Like, our Garen's definitely threatened. Death Hand, Flock, some crazy shit like double Make It Rain, who knows.
So he has 4 mana. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say like, oh, we can Concerted Strike now and level him up, but I am actually kind of terrified of Ravenous still. The Flock or Death Sand.
Yeah, I would not have minded. Yeah, then again, there's no real reason to play Star Shaping. That was pretty fine the way you did it. We need to start worrying about TF though.
Yeah.
How much is he?
6 out of 8. Oh, he's gonna nab 2 cards right here.
No, he's gonna Rex. Oh, okay, sure.
So, let's see. We have a Judgment in hand. His attack is terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. He does have another 2 reduced cost cards though. So he's at 3 in total.
That's
annoying.
Rough. But is it that big of a deal? We still have Judgment. Like, do we care at all? Genuinely? I don't think he has enough mana to play enough cards to get a gold card, right?
Probably not. We could have Concerted Strike right away to reduce the chance of... The problem with Judgment is... If we pass, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But that being said... 12 mana is just really awkward for our hand right now.
Let's see. Okay, so we can either start shaping the Guardian to keep her alive, or we... Judgment's 8, so leaves us with 4 mana to use outside of that, which we can't. We could... No, Pale doesn't keep her alive. If we had 1 more mana, I'd feel really comfortable star shaping the Guardian.
Absolutely. Yeah, question is, do we go high risk, high reward? We either go Star Shaping into Concerted Strike, or we skip block and hope for the Judgment.
I think Star Shaping into Concerted is going to be the best bet.
Then you need to do it right now, because time.
Yeah. Immortal. Should I have Concerted Strike right then? Like right now, or?
Ideally, yes, but we didn't really have time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is the benefit of doing it then versus waiting for them to kind of try to play more cards to then...
Less TF triggers, but I guess the action passes back to us anyway.
Okay, so here's an opportunity. So out of Radiant and Garen, which one does gold card trigger on? Like if he gets a gold card right now, who does it go for? Is it random?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like officially Riot says left to right, but it might just be random. You just need to check the eye. One important thing to note is that gold card cancels Judgment. So we can't Judgment with Garen. But like right now we don't have mana anyway, just for the future.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it canceling. So do we just Concerted Strike TF now?
I would. Like to not give him the chance to develop more units for more cards.
Yeah, you're right. I guess there's just not a reason not to.
Should be champ over follower. It doesn't say it anywhere though. Like Riot never mentioned it, I think.
That's rough.
Wait, okay. That's 8 damage? That's fine though. Like TF still dies.
Yeah. It just really sucks. And Pale Cascade's not going to save him.
Yeah, we don't have to have Garen to win though.
No, you're right.
So our opponent, I think, has 1 reduced cost card left and 1 Ravoon card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, someone in chat is also saying play order to determine the gold card. It's maybe I should ask Riot again.
So do we trade down or let it through?
No, we trade for sure. I just don't know if we trade in both. Probably can.
I mean, our option would be to keep the Guardian up, but if he has cards like Death's End and Ravenous, which we've seen the Ravenous, I don't think there's a reason to keep the 1 HP Guardian.
No, it's fine. The Guardian can die. I mean, there's only one concerted strike left in play anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded 4-1 into 4-2 though.
Yeah, and I thought about it. I just wanted to maximize the health gain.
You would have still gone up to 4.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, opponent's attack order was really poor as well. That's true. The Zap needs to attack last.
Huh. Okay, so we can Ravoon into Mentor, or we can just play the Immortal Fire and pressure a lot of free damage if they don't block with the Spray Fin.
Okay, what are you leaning towards?
I kind of want to play Ravoon just because we have like a lot of mana in our hand, and I feel like it's better to generate another Daybreak card.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Ravoon as well. For me, the main reason is that we'd get 2 units on board rather than 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, also we're likely to find something we can play, like more blockers.
So the question for me personally is, do we want... Because if we play the Shield Bearer and the Mentor and we stack up Ravoon's stats, the Mentor will die, right? But then we have gems for the Immortal Fire.
True. What else do we have to... Like, Mentor does die, but...
We also have a Pale Cascade to make sure that the Mentor trades whatever it blocks.
Yeah.
I think we definitely do that.
Yeah, I like it.
Because that's about with gems on this, and he for sure will have to trade units down because we're threatening way more damage with the Mentor.
Another thing, like... If you get creative, like, is there a way you remove the blocker for the Immortal Fire?
Not really, is there? We would have had to attack with just Ravoon and Judgment.
Okay, no, I mean on our next attack when we play the Immortal Fire 2 turns later.
Hush.
Yeah, exactly. And we might get the OTK with Immortal Fire depending on how this goes.
Because he only has 2 mana left, so he can parlay the Mentor, which is the best thing for him to do. Make it rain. Sweet! That's fine.
That's interesting. How do we attack here?
I think we attack the same way. Right?
Well, the 3-4 kind of ints into Gangplank.
Then we just cascade.
The 3-4? Then it's a 5-5.
Oh, he doesn't die anyway. Yeah, you're right. But then Gangplank blocks the Mentor. Right? It's either Gangplank blocks the Mentor or Gangplank blocks the 3-4.
Yeah, but the 3-3 can also block the 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that we could buff the Shield Breaker instead. And then both our 5 attack units threaten to kill Gangplank, but the 5-3 also just dies to 3-3.
Yeah, or the 3-2.
This is...
I kind of want to keep
one.
The 5-3, because this makes sure that it lives, so he can't super comfortably attack on Gangplank just because of the threat of the card.
Yeah. I would have probably not swung with a 3-4 just so you have a phantom blocker next turn. It saves you 3 HP. But it's okay. I mean, it does put 3 damage on Gangplank. I just don't think the damage on Gangplank matters.
I mean, so we can either Pale Cascade now, or we can save Cascade to try to go for the instant kill on Immortal Fire.
Wait, what does it read? Does it buff itself? Like, it goes. Does it go up to 7-5 or 8-5?
This is a 7-5. This will go up to 7-5. The gems don't buff its HP. This buffs its HP by 1, which this would take it to an 8-6.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is,
3 gems puts us at 11 damage, so we won't kill it anyway in one turn.
Yeah, no, just do the cascade on the mentor, it's fine. What I'm trying to say is I'm not sure if the Celestial you play counts by itself.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, then we could only get up to 12 damage anyway. Yeah. Oh, Genevieve is a really good pickup.
Do we Genevieve next turn? No, we Immortal Fire.
Yeah, Immortal.
Right?
But we have Genevieve for our next attack.
You can see the scout icon just hovering there, right?
Yeah. That's still from Genevieve, it's just a graphic bug.
Oh yeah. I forgot he played Genevieve. So we just Immortal Fire. There's no way for him to kill the Immortal Fire in time. Because it regens HP. If he passes here, do we just end the turn?
Probably. But hold your horses here. There are quite a few options this turn.
Yeah. He could parlay our 7-2 and push for damage. But if he parlays, we drop the Immortal Fire. Oh, he's
okay. If he does not open attack, we can have Hush for Gangplank.
If we keep... What do you mean, have Hush? Like, if he opens attack, then we Hush Gangplank?
No, if he does not, if he develops instead.
Oh, yeah.
Here we also have, like, we can go for Judgment, which is risky against removal, though.
That's really risky.
The thing is, we currently don't threaten lethal next turn with the Immortal Fire.
Yeah.
But I think we still do it, right?
If we Judgment now, he can still remove Ravoon with a Flock or a Death's Hand or a Fervor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we just let this go through and kind of hope.
Is it worth it to Hush the Gangplank's damage? And then we can play Garen into Genevieve, maybe?
It's an idea, but we can also Hush Gangplank next. Yeah. Hush for 6. We can, we don't have to.
I don't think we do, honestly. We can hold on to it.
Oh, high card in chat is saying Hush the Barrel is kinky. That's true, that would have been an interesting play.
Hush the what?
Hush the Barrel that threatens to trade with Gangplank.
True. I think that actually would have been really good.
Yeah, but if opponent has another removal, like even Make It Rain is enough there, then we also have to Hush Gangplank and that taps us out of mana for Garen even. Yeah. It's an interesting play. I'm not sure if it's the best play.
Oh no, I forgot that we played a different Celestial card this game. So it gets the 1 damage from...
Sisters?
The Sisters. Yeah, from the Sisters. It's actually interesting that the Sisters only give you... I guess it's played, not summoned, huh? Well, that's a large stat line.
Wait, is that from the second Grifter?
It doesn't say.
Should be. Because it's not reduced cost. And I don't think Ravoon can. Can Ravoon generate itself? I don't think it can, right?
I don't know. I actually don't have that answer. Okay.
I know that Unspeakable Horror can't generate itself. Should be the same with Ravoon. I've never seen Ravoon pull a Ravoon. Holy shit, we might be in trouble.
We have the Genevieve and try to remove.
Yeah, it's just like Warning Shot into Decimate is... And we don't really have an answer to it.
Yeah, I mean, if he has that hand, he has that hand. He has the Warning Shot. If he has the Decimate, he has the Decimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just nothing we can do about it. So I think we still play the
Genevieve. Yeah. We play Genevieve, that's completely fine.
So, do we pull the Sprayfin first with Genevieve Scout?
It's... Ooh.
Let's see. We have +3, +5. We could threaten lethal this turn if we pull.
Yeah, I actually like it. Our opponent should not have an answer to that.
So we just win, hopefully, because there's no way he can kill.
Yeah, I just feel
time. She has 12 HP.
Yes, yeah, that's actually a good play. I just feel like we're kind of dead here.
You see, it feels that way, but is it that way? It's a tough call.
Yeah, if we need to hush the barrel, we just die the turn afterwards, though. Chat. Because the barrel also loses ephemeral. They stay for next turn.
I mean...
I think we survive.
Wait, I mean, we survive, but do we survive? How much damage is hitting her?
Fuck, there's no way to save Genevieve. That's unfortunate.
Okay. So we have 6 mana, which is only enough for a Hush and 3 gems. Which does not kill him. It really sucks that he nabbed so many cards. Because the stat lines are just obnoxious. Okay. So... I mean, our only play here... Do we hush the Spray Fin or do we keep it? I think we just keep it, right?
Yeah. We have to go for Judgment next turn.
Yeah. He's just gonna kill us with the Gangplank passive.
What you can do is still put gems on it, just to make use of mana. So it doesn't go to its second life. He doesn't currently kill us with a Gangplank passive. Oh no, I think we don't attack. Because it gives him a keg.
Generate a barrel?
Yeah. Oof, that was close. Yeah, because we one-shot him on our next swing anyway, right?
Yeah. And if he opens attack, then we Judgment and clear the entire board.
Hopefully. So that's our only shot right now.
Yeah, that's our only chance of winning. Yeah. I mean, I could use the mana to hush the Spray Fin and deal damage.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if our opponent is at 13 or 2.
No. Not really. Disappear. Okay. Ooh. Not that that helps us. Wait, so if the Immortal Fire dies, but gets healed up, does that trigger Radiant Guardian?
I think not. I'm not sure, though. Because it doesn't say revive me, but it says heal me.
Fully heal me instead. I guess it would work the same way as Tryndamere, right?
Probably. Except, wait, Tryndamere... Doesn't Tryndamere actually die? No, he doesn't. He just levels up. That's true.
Yeah. Do we change anything? Hush anything first? I don't think so, right?
I don't see a point in hushing anything yet.
Yeah.
Oh, we might actually do this. Man, what a lame finish. Can Cascade draw anything?
Oh. No. I used to have Guiding Touches in the deck, but Kavira said to remove it for the Pale Cascade. If I had Guiding Touches, there would be a chance of drawing that, but no.
Yeah. Well, that was an unfortunate game. I do think, though, I still think that one swing was incorrect where we buffed the Ravoon with the Mentors. Do you want to go over that again? I think that was a very interesting decision point.
Yeah, we can go over it.
Because it allowed our opponent to remove both our units and put our Ravoon on 2 HP.
Yeah, because then it dies to the Gangplank.
Exactly, and he gets the full overwhelm damage through. That being said, maybe in hindsight we should have hushed the Gangplank. Use a hush for 6 healing. Doesn't sound great though.
I mean, it doesn't sound great, I think we'd survive. But it keeps us alive because we didn't end up using the hush at all. Yeah, exactly. But that's also a bit results oriented. Did we ever like have mana to use it and all that kind of stuff? Okay, this attack. So say we do it the other way around. Wait, I think you're... I'm just pretty sure the 3-4 doesn't swing because this could have just phantom blocked, for example, the 3-2 or... Wait, how did it unfold? Yeah. I mean, we have to swing here, right?
Yeah, we do have to swing here. I'm just thinking if there's a better way to swing. This could have baited our opponent into losing Gangplank. But what happens, say, if opponent takes a 3-2 here, 3-3 here? We pay a Cascade here, we only have a 5... We have a 5-4 left.
Which could have threatened the Gangplank more.
Yeah, we could also just use one gem and it's a 6-4. I think that would have been the play, right?
Yeah, I think that would have been the play.
But that's why yeah. Okay, just in general, one thing I noticed, actually, we're already past 2 hours, but I did notice a few things. I'll give you like a quick summary of what I think you do well and what I think is a bit problematic.
Okay.
I really, like, overall, I actually think you're a super solid player, and I'm very sure you will climb. And the main reason of that is how reflective you are and how your decision-making process is going. That you actually investigate different outcomes and so on. Like, this is definitely a sign of someone who will learn and improve. Also, I think your fundamentals overall are pretty solid. Like, when to open attack, when to pass, generally which attacks to assign and so on. But I think... I think you're falling into a trap sometimes, and this is a good example of overvaluing certain flashy units. I think, like, I just noticed it a lot with the Written in the Stars example and with the Twisted Fate. Like, how you always wanted to remove Twisted Fate immediately, although he was still at 0 out of 8, and there were bigger threats on opponent's board. And also that you often wanted to pull a big vanilla unit with Written in the Stars, which is not bad by itself, but it's also... Like, I mean, you do need to expend a lot of mana, and also... It is a good unit, but it doesn't change the way the game is going. What I tried to say earlier, right? So... Yeah, maybe that's just something to watch out for. What's special about Legends of Runeterra as a card game, as opposed to something like League of Legends, is that, for example, champions are basically just very slightly better followers. They're units like everything else. Some have flashy effects, some don't. But they're not per se better than followers. And also, sometimes keywords and... Like, sometimes keywords can be good and sometimes keywords can be useless. And this was one of the cases where keeping Ravun alive doesn't really do anything for us, right?
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for us.
Because we would rather have a 5-4 shield breaker than a 7-2 Ravoon here after combat. Because it's just that the effect doesn't do anything. And sometimes it's just like, don't think about the card, about the name of the card or the effect of the card, but sometimes it's just like, look at the stats and what it currently does to the game state. And I do agree, like, Twisted Fate is always a threat, especially since if we would have known that our opponent runs the full nap package. I'm also much more on your side with being more cautious.
Yeah, and I mean, Twisted Fate didn't actually, like, even though he leveled, he didn't actually do anything in this game, like, realistically. Because the big threat that turn was, like, the turn that Twisted Fate died, the biggest threat was the fact that Genevieve dropped and gave all of the units bigger stat line, which happens regardless of if Twisted Fate is leveled or not. So I can understand how I definitely am overvaluing people just because it's like, oh, well, this guy cost me 5 mana over 2.
Yeah, that is true. So. And also, yeah, I would generally think about, especially with the invokes, that was always interesting. I was also kind of looking at chat, and I think most people agreed that Written in the Stars was always... It's a flashy option, but it was probably never the best. Yeah. And just keep in mind what the cards you could pull. Like, don't think about only yourself and like the big unit you would get, but think about the game plan thing. Like, does it either help me to accomplish my game plan more than the other cards, or does that card stop my opponent's game plan? Does it keep them from winning? Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, but like, honestly, apart from that, overall, I think if you play thoughtfully, if you take time for your decisions and don't miss judgments and so on, you're actually completely on the right track. And probably also don't play when you're tilted. It sounded a bit like that in the message you hit me up on Discord with earlier.
Yeah, I had some high hopes. I thought maybe I could... I was 2 games away from Diamond. I was 2. And I just wanted to hit Diamond before we had the session, just so that way, you know, your YouTube video was Diamond coaching instead of Plat coaching. but instead, I'm in Plat 3 and instead of Plat 1. So.
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry about that. That's just a little label no one cares about. Yeah,
I suppose. I care a little bit.
Yeah, you get there for sure. And honestly, I think you have like the right mindset to also hit masters with a bit of practice, and maybe it's gonna be a bit harder with this deck. It's not top tier. Okay,
I don't totally understand like what makes it. Is it just because it doesn't have enough like spell removal?
No, the removal is fine. It's just that the meta is not very good for it, because there's a lot in the current meta that's good against mid-range. And that would be every Ezreal deck kind of outvalues you while you have a tough time out-tempoing them. And Twisted Fate Swain with all of their flux and removal and stuns. And you're often not fast enough to finish Ezreal Karma. It's just that right now control and combo is so good. And you do have, you're probably favored against aggro, but you don't have the best answers to aggro.
I personally think I'm way favored against aggro. Like, playing this deck on ladder, when you queue into like, you see like Diana Nocturne or like a solo Elise, and you're like, oh, this is this version of Swim's deck. Yeah.
You should for sure be favored, but keep in mind you only have 1/1 drop, like 3 1-drops, 5 2-drops, 4 3-drops, which are not that beefy and so on. Like, I could see this get overrun sometimes because you have so many 5-drops.
Yeah, that's fair. Usually once, like, I don't know, it really depends on if you can draw like a Radiant Guardian.
Exactly.
If you have Radiant Guardian, you're just not worried at all, honestly.
Yeah.
Like a 5/5 tough against aggro that heals you is crazy.
Absolutely. especially with all the enablers you have. Concerted Strike is a free 5 healing. Single Combat is most of the time gonna heal for an additional 5. Radiant Guardian is quite a hyper carry. Yeah, a few people in chat are saying that Garen is kind of the problem in this deck, which I kind of can agree with, because he's very easy to remove with the Noxus removal. And like he also clogs up the 5-drop spot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth trying a Fiora version of this deck, but that would change the deck a lot.
That would change the deck so much. I mean, the only other option would be Lucian.
Yeah,
right?
Lucian's not in a good spot. It also doesn't fit the deck that well.
Yeah, because let's see. I mean, Tarek doesn't do anything here. Lux...
I mean, Leona Lux has been played quite a lot.
Heavily on a Lux deck. It's called Dawn Sparks instead of Dawn Guard. If you saw the naming scheme, thought it was kind of clever. Thought it was kind of cute.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Quaint. But I have a version that has Lux, and I don't know. Lux doesn't give me the same like mid-range vibe, even if she might be better. Which obviously, if I want to climb, I might just have to play what's better. I mean, the only other option would be Quinn, but if you're gonna play Quinn, just play Scouts.
Nah, yeah. Quinn's worse than Garen.
Yeah.
I will say this deck probably, especially if you keep refining it, you can hit Masters with this, but you need to play really, really well.
Okay, so someone in chat mentioned the Ashe Sejuani, which, I mean, I have the Ashe Sejuani deck. In terms of mid-range, like, what do the two decks offer against each other? Like, what deck would I want to take? Let's say I'm playing tournament format and I take both decks. Which decks do I want to play against what other decks and why? Or is it kind of samey since they're both mid-range?
I mean, Frostbite decks generally clap all kinds of Demacia. I personally think this deck is straight up better, reason being that it's not only a mid-range but also a combo deck, because Ashe is always an additional win con.
Yeah.
And also it kind of... Yeah, I gotta admit I don't like the version you have, but...
oh, what's wrong with the version I have? What?
In the current meta, I'd for sure run 2 Reckonings, and this does not run Bjerg nor Sentries. So, okay, it's a good aggressive version. I'd probably also run Troll Chance in this right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Troll Chant's really good. I mean, what do you swap out for Troll Chant? Like Elixir?
Yeah, Elixir can go.
I'll think about it. But anyway,
yeah,
I want Demacia to be good so bad. Like outside of Scouts.
Wait, you don't run Hearthguards?
No.
I mean, yeah, this is the aggro version, which was good for a short period of time when the when the meta was full of aggro and you had to raise them. Right now, especially if you run triple assess, right, for sure go Hearthguards.
I mean, this is from last meta.
Before Call of the Mountain, right?
Yeah, this is pre-Call of the Mountain.
Yeah. I get it. Right now I'd play
because I didn't play it at all.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I personally think that deck's power level is higher in general just because of the additional combo win con with Ashe. It just kind of has more threats and more answers. Well, not necessarily more answers, but for sure more threats, like more punch through.
Yeah, it has a lot more punch through, especially just with the Sejuani overwhelm.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, this deck's for sure better against aggro. The Dawn Guard deck.
Just because of the healing, but overall, it's gonna be the better deck. So, like in a tournament format, if I have both of these and they're playing like 3 versions of aggro, like Lulu Zed, hecking Swims burn aggro, and They Who Endure or whatever, like an endure deck, it would just be take this deck in. Someone in chat also said just remove Garen and play Leona solo.
Oh no, I think they said play Leona ASOL.
Oh.
Or did I miss that?
I mean, someone probably said just play Leona.
Oh, just run the Leona solo. Yeah, I'm seeing this right now.
Yeah. What do you... I mean, you could swap out Garen for Bannerman.
I mean, yeah, no, Bannerman is not good with that many non-allegiance cards. You can do Grizzled Ranger.
Overpowered card, by the way.
Yeah, it's strong.
We're back to when it was a 4-1 and this was a 4-4.
It has been, you know, back then I was like, there's no way. When they first revealed it, I was like, there's no way anyone actually thinks it's a good idea to print this. I'm still like, it's unfathomable to me how this actually, like, the dev team sat there and said like, oh yeah, that's gonna be an interesting card. And no one said like, wait a minute, this is just completely overpowered.
Yeah, I can see how actually that would be beneficial. It's a lot more pressure because it has 2 attacks because it's Scout, and it like avoids removal for at least a little while. Like especially Ravenous Flock, like it avoids Ravenous Flock because it just dies.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it makes the curve a bit nicer.
Yeah, it smooths out the curve. Okay, that's just better.
Like, if I'm very honest, right now there's like, if you have the champion slot free, Ezreal is straight up much better than Mentor of the Stones. Because this deck right now almost looks like this BBG deck. I'll send you a link to. Someone in chat mentioned that as well. Maybe you can compare your 2 decks, see what you like, see what you don't like, and kind of get to an even middle ground, you know?
Yeah. If I play Ezreal, then I just would play like the Ezreal version that plays around it more. I don't know.
Alright, send it to you in Discord.
Yeah, you can just send it to me in Discord.
I'll also show it on stream for the viewers. I mean, this is kind of your deck. It just looks a bit more solid. I would for sure add a second Hush in there, but apart from that, the list looks pretty solid overall.
Stacked on... This is all 3... all by 3s.
Yeah, that's like classic BBG style. Especially for tournaments, I'd add a second Hush though. But 1 Hush is also okay. Probably cut the Bright Steel.
I don't totally see a reason. Well, no. I just don't... I wouldn't run.
Okay, now it should be back. That was probably just on Twitch's behalf. You could still hear me the whole time, right?
I don't know. I have the stream muted, so I don't hear doubles.
I mean, you could hear me in Discord.
Oh, yeah, I could hear you in Discord still. Yeah, I should probably just play the Leona Ezreal. There's just not a reason to try to run Garen.
Yeah, chat, I apologize. Looks like... I think that was on Twitch's behalf, to be honest. That was a very strange little disconnect. Because I didn't get thrown out of Discord.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, if you look at this list and you cut a Star Shaping for a Hush, that's fine. Star Shaping, I think it's one of the best cards for the Ezreal mirrors. That's why everyone plays it, because it has high chances of pulling Cosmic Inspiration.
Yeah.
The like buff your whole deck.
Yeah, it's definitely really actually good in the Ezreal matchup. I said at the very beginning that Ezreal is like the hardest deck I go against. I lose to it a lot, and it's probably just because I don't think about it like playing against it. Because even looking at like BBG's deck, I'm like, oh, I would remove Star Shaping and put a Judgment in for like mid-range and aggro decks to just clear the board if they push into you without thinking about it, which oftentimes people do right now, at least especially like in Plat.
I mean, the deck you have right now is just kind of easy to deal with as an Ezreal deck.
Yeah.
So there's no big wonder that with this deck you lose a lot, but Scouts should do well against Ezreal.
Yeah, Scouts do well against Ezreal, but deck tournament formats, you can't take double regions. It's region locked. So if I'm taking Scouts, I'm not taking this. And if I'm not taking this, what do I run Targon in? You wouldn't even have to, I guess. Like 3 decks that I could take, it's just these top 3 right here, if I wanted to.
For a tournament?
Yeah, for a tournament. Because I want to play in the qualifier. Sorry.
You can't go double Noxus though. Or is it card lock instead of region lock?
Oh, no, it's region lock. You're right, I can't go double Noxus. I guess these 3 decks then.
Yeah, that's a very good lineup. Today I played that lineup with Ezreal, Leona instead of Scouts.
Yeah.
And that felt really good. But that lineup looks fine as well.
All right. Well, we're definitely a little bit past the time that
That's
was allotted. So thanks for burning away some conversation with me. It actually helps me to figure out like why people run specific cards, especially because I hadn't thought about running Star Shaping and like Ezreal mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, sure. Also, yeah, feel free to hit me up if you have other questions afterwards. Yeah, the last thing I could say, just have to repeat. I think you're definitely on the right track. And the biggest problem I saw was the way you value certain cards or certain effects on cards, even though they're not really affecting the game a lot right now.
Yeah.
But apart from that, yeah, you're doing fine. You're doing well.
I'll for sure focus on how I value cards.
Right.
Going forward, stop trying to instant remove TF. But anyways, all right, thank you.
Yeah. Also, is there any more questions you have, or any comments, or any criticism, or anything? Any feedback is also.
No, I mean not particularly. I suppose. Okay. I guess a lot of the time when I've got coaching in the past, and I used to actually coach like Overwatch professionally.
Oh, sweet. So
I was in the contender scene, but yeah, I think the way you do it is good. One thing I was really looking for was like the wrap-up notes, which I had a couple other people like help me improve in the game last season when I was gold to plat, and it always bothers me when people don't like wrap up with notes as just like a recap of like these are the points you need to work on, because it always helps when you have like a list of improvements.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyways,
yeah,
okay,
so it's fine. If I can think of anything else, I'll let you know, but for me that stuck out as the biggest point.
Yeah, and I can definitely see how that's the biggest problem, because especially in the early stages of a couple of those games where I wanted to just get rid of the TF, and it was like, well, the more threatening card is like the petty officer. Yeah, just the bigger statted unit, or with like the Ravoon next to the TF, right? 5/4 opposed to a 2/2. And it's like, I mean, at some point you do have to get rid of TF, but only when he threatens to be a threat, if that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. All right. I for sure will actually leave this time. I think I've said the word anyways about 10 times, so. No worries. I got luck on your grind, on your climb. Thank you. GG's. Yeah, GG's. See you around, Wicca. See ya. Bye-bye.